In this video, we will talk about Top 10 Famous Bank Robberies, discussing the top 10 famous bank robberies in detail, including their background, execution, and aftermath, will give us an insightful look into some of the most daring heists in history. Here's a summary of these notable cases. 1. The Great Train Robbery, 1963. In the early hours of August 8, 1963, a Royal Mail train traveling from Glasgow to London was ambushed by a gang of robbers led by Bruce Reynolds. They stopped the train in rural Buckinghamshire, England, and made off with £2.6 million, equivalent to about £53 million today. The robbers used a fake signal light to halt the train and overpowered the train staff, including the driver, Jack Mills, who was struck on the head and left unconscious. The gang meticulously planned the heist for months and retreated to a hideout to divide the spoils. However, their plans unraveled when authorities discovered their fingerprints at the hideout. Many were eventually captured and convicted, but the robbery remains a symbol of daring criminal enterprise. 2. The Banco Central Burglary, 2005. In Fortaleza, Brazil, a remarkable heist took place where thieves managed to steal around $70 million from the Banco Central. This sophisticated robbery happened in August 2005. The gang behind the heist rented a house near the bank and spent 3 months digging a 78-meter tunnel to reach the bank's vault. To avoid suspicion, they pretended to run a landscaping business from the house. On August 6 to 7, 2005, the thieves broke into the vault and carried away an estimated 3.5 tons of Brazilian real. The planning and execution of this heist were incredibly meticulous. The tunnel they dug was well engineered, complete with lighting and air conditioning, showcasing the high level of preparation and expertise involved. Despite their careful planning, many of the gang members were eventually caught. Authorities managed to recover about $9 million of the stolen money, but the majority of it was never found. The heist is still considered one of the largest and most sophisticated in history due to the sheer scale of the operation and the ingenuity of the tunnel construction. This heist highlights the extreme lengths criminals can go to achieve their goals and the detailed planning that can sometimes rival that of legitimate engineering projects. The Banco Central heist remains a significant example of criminal ingenuity and the challenges law enforcement faces in preventing and solving such complex crimes. 3. The Lufthansa Heist, 1978. The Lufthansa Heist is one of the most infamous robberies in U.S. history. It happened on December 11, 1978, at JFK International Airport in New York City. The Lucchese crime family planned the heist, and it was carried out by a gang led by James Burke. The robbers stole around $5 million in cash and $875,000 in jewelry, which would be worth over $22 million today. The heist was meant to be the perfect crime, but things went wrong due to paranoia and greed among the robbers. James Burke became suspicious and decided to kill anyone who might implicate him, leading to a series of murders. This paranoia ultimately led to the downfall of the gang members involved. The Lufthansa heist has been famously portrayed in the film Goodfellas, which shows the detailed planning and execution of the robbery, as well as the chaotic aftermath. The story remains a significant example of organized crime in the U.S. and the lengths to which criminals will go to protect themselves and their illicit gains. 4. The Northern Bank Robbery, 2004. On December 20, 2004, in Belfast, Northern Ireland, a gang seized £26.5 million from the Northern Bank's cash center. The robbers kidnapped the families of 2 bank officials and forced the officials to facilitate the heist. The officials were coerced into assisting with the robbery, ensuring the vault was cleared without raising an alarm. The gang managed to avoid immediate detection, and although several arrests were made, much of the stolen money was never recovered. The robbery remains one of the largest cash thefts in UK history. 5. The Securitas Depot Robbery, 2006. The largest cash robbery in British history occurred on February 21, 2006, when a gang took £53 million from the Securitas Depot in Tunbridge, Kent. The gang kidnapped the depot's manager and his family and used them to gain entry to the facility. They tied up 14 members of the staff and forced the manager to open the cages where the cash was stored. The robbers made off with an unprecedented amount of money, though police eventually apprehended most of the culprits and recovered a significant portion of the cash. 6. The Dunbar Armored Robbery, 1997. In the largest cash robbery in U.S. history, on September 12, 1997, Dunbar Armored's regional office in Los Angeles was hit for $18.9 million. The heist was masterminded by Alan Pace, a regional safety inspector for Dunbar, who meticulously planned the robbery using insider knowledge. Pace recruited 5 accomplices, and together they overpowered the guards during a weekend night where the vault was most vulnerable. They avoided detection by disabling security cameras and knowing the timing of the security checks. Pace's downfall came when one of his accomplices made a careless mistake, leading to their eventual capture. 7. The Banco Atao Burglary, 1976. One of the most famous heists in South America occurred on August 6, 1976, when a group of robbers tunneled into a Sao Paulo branch of Banco Atao and stole $10 million. The robbers used an abandoned house as their base and dug a tunnel over several months, using advanced techniques to avoid detection. The meticulous planning and execution of the robbery drew comparisons to the Great Train Robbery. Although some of the gang members were later captured, much of the money was never recovered. 8. The Brinks Mat Robbery, 1983. On November 26, 1983, a gang of robbers broke into the Brinks Mat warehouse at Heathrow Airport and stole £26 million in gold bullion, diamonds, and cash. The gang had inside help from a security guard who provided key information. The robbery was violent, with the guards at the warehouse being doused with petrol and threatened with immolation. While the gold was initially melted down and sold, the scale of the operation led to numerous arrests and convictions. The heist has been the subject of multiple books and documentaries due to its complexity and the brutal tactics employed. 9. The Banco Central Burglary, 2005. Taking place in Fortaleza, Brazil, the Banco Central Burglary is one of the largest bank heists in history. Thieves tunneled into the bank's vault and stole approximately $70 million. They spent 3 months digging a 256-foot tunnel to reach the vault. The gang posed as a landscaping company to cover their activities. Despite extensive planning, many of the gang members were captured, and part of the money was recovered. The heist remains notable for its scale and the audacity of the tunnel construction. 10. The Hatton Garden Heist, 2015. Over the Easter weekend in April 2015, a group of elderly men pulled off one of the largest heists in British history. They broke into the Hatton Garden Safe Deposit Company in London and stole approximately £14 million worth of jewelry, gold, and other valuables. The gang, dubbed the Bad Grandpas due to their age, used industrial tools to drill through a thick concrete wall. The heist was meticulously planned, but the gang was eventually caught due to their use of personal vehicles and cell phones. Their story became famous for the age of the robbers and the detailed planning of the heist. These famous bank robberies highlight the extreme lengths to which criminals will go to secure large sums of money. From meticulous planning and insider knowledge to bold and violent actions, each robbery tells a unique story of ambition and desperation. While some robbers were brought to justice, others disappeared with their fortunes, leaving behind legends that continue to fascinate the public. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel before you go. Thank you for watching.